For example, when I play Richard III, I'm thinking of a hyena.
Okay.
So this is because I think this is very helpful.
Yeah.
And there's an American way of acting. It's called, or being inspired by animal work. That means that you take a look at an animal and you study the animal, and for maybe 2 weeks or maybe a month, you just move like an animal. Mm-hmm. And then you take this kind of behavior, or some parts of the behavior, or maybe just the physicality, and you take it into a character. And suddenly, suddenly you are inspired by it. Maybe what do you think? Because you are here now.
Yes.
Maybe we start in English, and when we see it's difficult, we switch into German. Or maybe, but sometimes, I don't know. I mean, I would say Germans have an issue with talking German in foreign language. I have an issue.
Ok. Lui dice che preferirebbe farla in inglese.
Sì, no, ma capisco tutto.
Ah, ok.
No, capisco tutto.
So let's say that she's here, and if we need a better comprehension.
Sì, I thought about you are a German actor and you are very, very known, very famous. And so for the people to hear you speak in German is I think interesting.
Probably our people will like to hear your German, but we can switch a little bit.
Yes.
Is it okay if we switch?
For me, yes.
Yeah, for me too.
It's okay?
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Do you use safe words in life?
In my sexual life?
Yes.
No.
No? Okay.
But actually they are for
that.
Yes.
Yeah. And
but sometimes I use safe words when I do stunts in movies.
Oh, right.
Yes. Or I would say even if you shoot scenes with a sexual content or physical, let's say physical scenes.
All right.
Then you use safe words.
Safe words. You know this. Thank you. This is Caffè Scorretto. Thank you for coming.
Nice to meet you.
And she's Maria Carmen Morese, presidente del Goethe Institute di Napoli, and she will help us in German if we need some.
Great.
You know.
Thank you.
Okay.
And this is Caffè Scorretto. That in English the translation is unfair coffee. I mean, this is not a very correct coffee. It just means that it's conversational interview.
Right.
And we want to know about you. Are you a scary person? Somebody has been scared by you playing sometimes? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, I'm not a scary person. I would say the other way around.
So you're timid how are you timid?
No, it was interesting when I studied acting, they told me that I would never play evil people or psychopath because my appearance is too nice, and I'm a bit like the nice guy or everyone's darling. So and that was an issue for me because I thought that maybe these parts are the more interesting parts. The evil people. Yeah, but maybe I would say it's a very widespread common phenomenon in our times that people think in good, bad, evil, bad, right, wrong, black, white, and in psychology you call this phenomenon black and white thinking, and it means or describes a kind of cognitive distortion, thinking in extremes, and psychiatrists consider it to be a symptom for even for madness, insanity, or borderline. And I think that's very interesting, that we have the tendency in our society, in our times, to think in extremes, in black and white, in good, bad. Actually, I do not really believe that there's right, wrong, black and white, evil and good.
So, but you just say that to play evil, it's more fun, isn't it?
Yeah, but I would say, what is evil? What does it? I mean, if people tell me you are not supposed to play evil characters, or that you will not play evil characters. What does it mean, actually? I mean, what makes somebody evil?
Richard III, is it evil?
No. He's evil. Okay, you can describe him as evil, but for me it was very fascinating to understand that the play is not about somebody being really evil or like about the incarnation of evilness. I would say it's a play that describes, and that's of course like all the classic plays, very contemporary. It describes how easy it is for somebody to instrumentalize people for his needs and for what he wants, and how corrupt the people and the society is. And yeah, he's surprised after 15 minutes in the play, after the scene with Lady Anne, where he seduces her on the graveyard of her father-in-law. He seduces her to, he takes a ring and puts it on her finger, and she doesn't take it away. And he's really surprised how easy it was and how corrupt the people are. And I think this is what Shakespeare wants to describe. He doesn't want to show us an evil character, because an evil character doesn't exist. This is just a fictional idea. It's the same with a hero. I would say that I'm more interested, and maybe this is the misunderstanding, maybe you would describe somebody like that as an anti-hero, or as an evil person, an anti-hero. This is something I'm interested in, because I don't believe in heroes. This is really, this is a US American idea or ideal, and it's a utopia, and it's something you cannot really connect to.
Is it true each character has a need underneath, unfulfilled? And what about Hamlet? And if the Hamlet needs can be the same of Lars' needs, and how?
Yeah, of course. I used to say that I love this profession so much because it allows me to be myself, which sounds maybe at first somehow contradictory or like a paradox, but I think that it's more the way you see acting. Because in Germany we have some phrases that say something like, oh, it was just acted, or it was just theater. I would put the just in question. I would say, it's theater. It was played. And I think there's a certain quality in playing, and maybe a quality which is more truthful, even more truthful than being in daily life. Because to say, I'm sitting here now in private, I'm not sitting here in private, you know? This is as well
playing a role, of
yes
course.
You play the guy asking me questions, I play the guy answering questions, and I used to say that I'm here in person, but I'm not here privately, or I'm not here in private. That's something completely different.
So on stage,
and the stage allows me to be myself, to get connection, access to my personality, because I can express myself on stage even better than I can express myself right now.
So private in public, with audience. To be private with audience is a sort of a contradiction, but I go with that.
Yes?
Yeah, I see.
And it has, of course, to do with the place itself, or themselves, because the place, they put you in really, really extreme situations. Like in Hamlet, in Germany you have a nice word, it says Vorstellung. It's the word for performance is the same word that we use for imagination. So you have to imagine that your uncle killed your father, and you have the feeling that maybe your mother is involved, and then you start to hate all women for that, because you lose the trust in your mother, and he starts to hate his girlfriend Ophelia, and she commits suicide and becomes insane. I mean, to imagine that for 3 hours, that puts you in an extreme situation. And to be honest, I'm 48 years now, and tonight was the first night I woke up in the morning and I thought, maybe it's not possible for my brain to make a difference between something I really experienced in reality and something I experienced in fiction. I think for my unconscious, it's the same thing. So I was dealing the whole night with the conflicts of the play. Because how can my brain or my unconsciousness make a difference between both sides?
Do you feel comfortable in everyday life? I mean, just having a cup of coffee?
Yes.
Yes?
You don't?
No, yeah, yes, I do. No, because I see you
I feel comfortable.
So strong, so free, and so even behaving in a way so original on stage. So I say, if that is you, what is you in real life? You cannot do that such of volcanoes.
Well, I think it has something to do with the animal instinct. So we have a not so nice word, I would say, for somebody who's very present on stage. It's called Rampensau. I would say, or the English expression is way more nicer, or it describes the phenomenon better. It's called stage animal. And what I think I'm looking for or searching for is to follow my instincts, which makes me somehow like an animal on stage. And I'm very interested in this animal aspect because that gives you a certain kind of presence. If you put an animal on stage, you can be sure that the audience will just look at the animal, because it's not, you cannot direct it. You can, of course, have a bit of control on it, but you cannot really direct an animal. And I want to be on stage like an animal.
So it's different. It's not Dionysus. It's an animal. It's not Dionysus, the god of,
Yeah, I know the god of the Dionysus. I know him.
But so you're not talking about Dionysus. I mean, that's stomach instinct. But you're talking about animal, savage thing, wildness.
Yeah, or maybe. I mean, I'm always surprised that in our days, in our times, people make a difference between human beings and nature.
Yeah.
They used to say, okay, we have to take care of nature or something like that. And I'm always surprised that we don't see ourselves any longer as part of nature. I would say I am nature. And I think when I'm acting, I have a better connection to the nature inside of me than in daily life. Maybe because of civilization, or I don't know. But it's very difficult sometimes to get access to your animal instinct.
Yeah. So, because I was going to ask you if you take references when you act. But
yeah, right. Yeah, when I play, for example, when I play Richard III, I'm thinking of a hyena.
Okay.
So this is because I think this is very helpful.
Yeah.
And there's an American way of acting. It's called, or being inspired by animal work. That means that you take a look at an animal and you study the animal, and for maybe 2 weeks or maybe a month, you just move like an animal. Mm-hmm. And then you take this kind of behavior, or some parts of the behavior, or maybe just the physicality, and you take it into a character. And suddenly, suddenly you are inspired by it. And I thought that for Richard III, a hyena is very interesting because it has a very strong jaw, maybe the strongest jaw of all the animals. So the hyena is supposed to be the jungle, the king of the jungle. But it's not, because it has kind of disabled legs.
All right.
And this is my connection to Richard III, that because of this disability, he has to wait till others hunt for him and kill for him, and then, and that was my connection.
And this is quite smart as well, because if you are on stage, for instance, and you lose concentration maybe, or you judge yourself, or you listen to your voice, all distracting things, then you say, oh, stop, animal. And you take the reference, maybe just a physical movement that give you back the feeling.
Yeah, that's helpful. Yeah, and it helps you to I realized that sometimes shame is a big issue. And I think shame is something that makes us human beings, to be ashamed. This is the reason why on old paintings, Adam, when Adam is with Eve, he always have this leaf in front of his sex. And, oh sorry.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Anyway.
And this shame is something that makes us vulnerable. And we put a lot of effort into getting over this shame. And out of my experience, I was not able in the first 1-2 weeks of rehearsal to really go into something, a physicality that tells this is a disabled person or a person with a disability. And then it helped me to think more of an animal than of a disabled person.
All right.
And suddenly I was able to step over my fears, my shame, and yeah, I think that this is the method.
There is a story, probably you know better than me, about the medievale Buffon. You know Buffon, this word, like deformed people. Come si dice buffone? Tipo.
Is it a political correct term?
No, I mean it's a Buffon is the Shakespeare.
But not the fool.
Yeah, the fool.
The fool. Yeah.
Yeah, but a particular kind. You know, we are Italian, so we believe a lot in God. In the Middle Age, if you were not perfectly body thinking, deformed, something, you were not son of God. You were a God mistake.
All right.
So all these people.
I would say we are all God mistakes.
Yeah, in a way, I agree with you.
It's the story of human beings.
Yeah, and it's the beginning of the grotesque in a way, because they wanted a revenge and against this power who rejected them, and so they began to play, to act, showing really strong in the face of the power the deformation, instead of hiding the deformation, and I think this is a beautiful story of freedom. And I was thinking about this, which is a deformation. Why Hamlet has a deformation, and what is a deformation for you?
Yeah, it's really interesting what you're saying, because our dramaturg Marius von Meinburg, he used to tell me that Hamlet is one of the only plays where the fool is the protagonist. So he always said that Hamlet is the Shakespearean fool. And what I just said, that I think that we all are God's mistakes. That leads me to the thought that I think we are all anti-heroes. And an anti-hero is somebody we can really connect to, because we are all no heroes. So there will be always a kind of distance to a real hero in cinema, for example. That you maybe it's fascinating to watch a real hero, but it's very difficult to identify. And with the anti-hero you can really identify, because we are all doing mistakes. And I think that was our access. The story is interesting, because I always wanted Thomas Ostermeier, the artistic director and the director of Hamlet, I always wanted him to direct Hamlet, and he was never interested. He said, I do not really have a good idea to start with. And then we went to Tel Aviv, and while we were performing Ibsen's Hedda Gabler, he was watching in Israel a Shakespeare interpretation, Hamlet. And after he saw it, he came to me and said, now I know how to do it. Because he thinks that the directors, they used to make the mistake that they take Hamlet as their alter ego, and they show them as a kind of ideal man who's blaming the society for being rotten. And he said, we have to show a character which is as rotten as the society that surrounds him. A real anti-hero. Somebody who's lying, who's spitting, who's like a fat fuck, we said in the beginning.
A punk.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Maybe. I mean, I know that fat fuck is nowadays not so... Yeah, maybe we wouldn't say it today, actually. It's 17 years ago. Now we had the whole diversity debate, and I think that it would be... I'm not sure if I would wear a fat suit, or if I would come up with the idea of a fat suit still in a production that we would develop nowadays, because there are some people having issues with a thin guy putting a fat suit on and pretending to be heavy-weighted. But we took it to show that he has an issue, that he is not happy with himself, that he's a depressed person. And on the other hand, it was very important that we show in one moment of the show that he can take it off. So that it's the playfulness of the thing, like you said, like the fools that take their disability or whatever, their makel, to take it and be very confrontative with it, you know, and this is the way we did it in Richard III, that you see that I just put it on my body and I just take a big shoe to pretend that I'm disabled, and it becomes more like a symbol, or something that it seems in a way that the characters, they chose it, you know, that it's a decision to say, okay, I'm not hiding it, so I'm very confrontative.
Yeah. You know that I think in science, somewhere I've read that all the body cells, they change in 8 years. So you are not the same after 8 years.
You're right.
It's you, but with other cells.
Yeah.
What about this show? I mean, it's you. When was the debut? 2000.
In 2008.
So 16. So it's two new Lars playing 16 years of Hamlet.
Right.
Playing Hamlet. So how is the role going in all these transversal time, and how is changed? How do you...
Actually, I would say, hopefully it's changing every day. Hopefully it's never the same. So the way personality changes all the time. So this is what I do not agree with the idea that somebody has a personality and this is his personality his whole life long. I would say that a personality is something in motion that moves constantly. So that I wake up tomorrow as a different person, and I go on stage today as a different person. And today it will be, hopefully, a complete different performance as yesterday. And this is why I love theater so much, because theater believes in this aspect. Because a movie believes that it's important to capture something, to record something. But theater has the freedom to let it go. And this is a philosophy, I would say, that has much more to do with life than anything else. This is the art form which is as close as the way we live. And this is why it's so fascinating for the people, because you know, also the spectators know it's happening right now in this very moment, and then it's over. And you can compare it maybe with the erotic of a plant and of flowers. You know, if you are invited to somebody and you hand them how do you say, Strauß von Blumen, flowers. The beauty of the erotic of it, of the gestures, they are already gone. They are already dead. If you give somebody a plant, it pretends that it will last forever or even longer. So it's a belief in the future or whatever, or a promise into the future, like romanticism. But the flower is so beautiful because it tells more about it. So it's a kind of memento mori already. And I see theater as a memento mori.
Do you have any? First, I've seen your documentary about you, and there is Juliette Binoche that says that it's not possible to take the eyes off of you when you play. So, what is presence? What is stage? Why is so? Why she says that is impossible to take?
I think it's Isabelle Huppert who says it. Not Juliette Binoche.
Oh yes, Huppert, yes.
Yeah, right.
Isabelle Huppert.
Yeah. I mean, I think presence is a very, very interesting phenomenon, and it's something you can really talk about for hours, because in a way it's the essence of why you go on stage, because it's the only thing that presence describes is that you are there in this very moment. You are present in this very moment. And I think this is the beauty of theater, that you get an understanding what it means to be alive. I remember when I saw my grandmother's dead body. That was the first moment that I understood, that I get an idea of what life is, because of the absence of life. I saw a body without life, and suddenly you understand, or you get an idea what life is about. And presence is something, I'm always surprised that they put so much effort also in the way they teach you on an acting school, that you go on a stage protected in the way that you rehearse something and then you perform it in front of people. And the way I was told is we make agreements in the rehearsal, and then you have to perform these agreements in front of people. So you say this sentence and then you get up. This is the agreement. And when you do it differently in a performance, the teacher in an acting school, stop. Didn't we agree that you wait till the and then you, and this is something to protect yourself, because suddenly you feel safe, because you in a group agreed to the same direction. You know, you say, okay, we agreed on this and now we perform it like this. If somebody starts to do it differently, he or she puts everything in danger. So the agreements, the rehearsals are to protect yourself. But I would say the beauty of presence, the beauty of performing is to be completely vulnerable, to be completely not protected and not safe. And this is very, very difficult, and you have to put a lot of effort into bringing yourself in this situation of being really not protected. Because what people don't understand is that the beauty of improvisation, for example, is that there's always a potential of failure. And in the moment where you fail, people are sometimes disappointed. But I would say that the genius of improvisation can just develop if you take the risk of failure. And this is something very difficult to provoke on a stage, because we all have the instinct to protect ourselves, to be safe, to be secure. And this is something I'm working on constantly, to put myself into dangerous, not secure, not protected situations in front of people. I don't know, you saw the performances.
Yeah,
right?
I saw that.
You remember when I start climbing up?
Yeah, it's dangerous, somebody shouts.
It was dangerous.
Yes.
Because I don't know if I maybe fall. And today I met a person on the street when I went to the museum, and he said, I was in the performance yesterday. Wow, it was brilliant. And the moment when you climbed up, and I mean, isn't it interesting that the people talk about this moment, you know?
Yes, you know.
Nobody ever in my life told me this is so beautiful and well how you perform the to be or not to be monologue. Nobody ever. But people are interested in this kind of moments, because then they feel presence. then they feel danger, they feel risk, and suddenly the thin line between reality and fiction becomes disappears.
Yes.
Because they know this is really dangerous. What he's doing right now, you know, it's.
You were climbing the second floor as well,
right,
and somebody shouted from the stage, "Stop!"
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Lars Eidinger.
Thank you
thank
for
you,
your
Maria Carmen.
thank you for.
It was amazing.
Thank you for helping,
listening, and so.
Yeah, great. Yeah, because it's.
Amazing.
I think. I mean, of course, my German is better than my English, but still.
So you have to control.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to trust that you really.
I know. It's okay.
Thank you for being here.
It was very important for me. I'm writing a novel, and now it's my second novel, and so it's very important for me what you are saying, because I see my character and myself and main issue of my novel. So
yeah. Oh, very good.
It was very interesting for
Thank
me.
you. Yeah, that's
Thank
good.
You. Yes.
Great.
So break a leg.
Yeah.
You say break a leg? Do you say break a leg like?
In Germany, we say.
Shit.
Hals- und Beinbruch. Yeah,
Hals- und
which means the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Ciao.